Before you begin any journey, ask yourself, what is my intention? Is it strength you seek? Is it freedom from pain? Or is it the ability to move through life with ease and confidence? Strength begins with awareness, not intensity. When we begin a journey to strengthen our body, particularly a sensitive and vital joint like the knee, the impulse is often to push harder, to go faster, to test the limits right away. But this mindset can be misguided. True strength is not born from aggression or force, but from understanding and presence. To train the knee, we must first become aware of it, not just as a part of the body, but as a center of motion, balance, and connection. Every step we take, every time we sit or rise, our knees are engaged. Yet most people only notice them when they begin to hurt. This is not awareness, this is reaction. Awareness means noticing how your knees feel right now, even when there is no pain. It means listening to the signals your body gives before discomfort arises. It means being mindful of alignment, of weight distribution, of the muscles that support and stabilize the joint. In this quiet awareness, we begin to see the truth on that the path to strength is slow, intentional, and grounded in presence. When we rush into high-intensity workouts or complex movements without first understanding how our knees respond to simple ones, we risk harm. The ego wants results. It demands performance. But the body speaks another language, one of sensation, subtlety, and timing. A beginner's knee workout, done with awareness, can be more powerful than an advanced routine done without it. The quality of the movement matters more than the quantity. Slower movements that require control demand more from the stabilizing muscles. They build the type of strength that protects the joints, that lasts beyond the workout, that supports you in daily life. Awareness also reveals imbalances. You begin to notice if one knee bears more weight than the other. You sense if your feet collapse inward, pulling on the joint. You feel if the hips are tight, affecting the alignment below. These small insights are where strength is born, because once you see the imbalance, you can address it. And when you correct small misalignments, you create space for true strength to emerge, not brute strength, but integrated, functional strength that is harmonious across the whole body. Awareness gives you the patience to slow down when needed, to rest when appropriate, and to repeat a basic movement until it is mastered. This approach cultivates not only physical strength, but mental resilience. When you bring your full attention to the process, you begin to realize that your body is not a machine to be pushed, but a living system to be tuned. And like a musical instrument, the tuning must be precise, sensitive, and ongoing. It is not something you do once and forget. Every session, every breath is a new opportunity to listen more deeply and respond more wisely. Even the simplest exercise, like a bodyweight squat or a leg raise, becomes profound when done with full presence. You feel the muscles engage, the knee stabilize, the breath flow. You are no longer just doing an exercise. You are in practice, in discipline, in self-respect. There is also emotional strength that comes from this awareness. Many people carry fear in their knees. Fear of injury, fear of aging, fear of pain. These emotions tighten the body and limit movement. But when you become aware of the fear without judgment, you create space to let it go. You breathe through the discomfort. You remind yourself that growth often lies just beyond the edge of fear, not in denying it, but in facing it with presence. This emotional resilience becomes a strength that carries into other parts of your life. You learn to move through resistance with grace, to stay grounded when challenged, to choose patience over panic. This is why strength must begin with awareness, because awareness is the foundation for all intelligent action. It is what prevents injury. It is what guides improvement. It is what makes the difference between movement and mastery. Intensity without awareness is chaos. But even low-intensity movement, when done with deep attention, becomes transformative. It rewires your nervous system. It teaches your muscles to engage in harmony. It cultivates control and precision. Over time, this kind of practice builds strength that doesn't just make you look better or perform better. It makes you feel better, move better, and live better. So before you begin your knee workout, pause, breathe, bring your attention inward. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Sense the alignment of your legs. Notice how your knees respond when you bend them slightly. Listen for tension. Seek balance. Let your awareness guide your movement. Let it teach you what strength really is. Because true strength, the kind that lasts, the kind that protects, the kind that empowers, does not begin with how much you lift or how far you stretch. It begins with how deeply you listen, how present you are, how aware you remain. From this awareness, strength grows, not just in the knees, but in the mind, the breath, and the spirit. And that is where the journey begins. Pain is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher. In every discipline that tests the human body, whether martial arts, athletics, or healing practices, pain becomes an inevitable companion. But most people fear it, avoid it, or fight it. This resistance blinds them to the lessons that pain carries. When you experience discomfort in your knees, especially as a beginner on the path of strengthening them, it is not a punishment. It is a message. It is your body speaking to you clearly and urgently. The question is not how to silence the pain immediately, but how to understand what it is telling you. What habits have caused it? What movements intensify it? What postures reduce it? In this reflection, awareness grows and wisdom follows. The knee is a joint designed to support, to hinge, to stabilize. When it hurts, there is a reason. That reason could be muscle weakness, tightness, imbalance, inflammation, overuse, or even emotional stress stored in the tissues. Ignoring that pain or numbing it through distractions or medications without understanding it first does not solve the problem. It delays it and often makes it worse. But if you sit with the pain, breathe with it, and ask, "What are you trying to teach me?" the answers begin to surface. Perhaps you realize you have neglected mobility in your ankles or hips. Perhaps you discover that you move through your day with tension, rushing, and imbalance. Perhaps the pain is asking you to slow down, to be more deliberate, to correct what has long been misaligned. Pain can be a signal of limitation, yes, but also a gateway to transformation. It shows you where your attention is needed most. It exposes your weaknesses with precision. In that vulnerability lies great power, because once you see the weakness, you can work on it. You can rebuild the strength, one small conscious movement at a time. You can realign the body, retrain the nervous system, and shift your habits. But only if you're willing to learn from the pain instead of battling it. The more you resist it, the more it persists. The more you listen to it, the more it evolves into guidance. Like a teacher, pain does not always speak softly. But the lesson is always one of growth if you are humble enough to receive it. In this process, your relationship with your body changes. You stop seeing pain as something to be conquered and start recognizing it as feedback. You become more attuned, more refined in your movements. You stop pushing through discomfort with force and instead move with intelligence and compassion. You adjust your posture. You activate the right muscles. You protect your joints through alignment, breath, and awareness. The pain lessens, not because it is silenced, but because the root of it is being addressed. This is how lasting change happens. Not through suppression, but through understanding and correction. There is also an emotional layer to pain. Sometimes knee pain reflects more than physical stress. It can be tied to feelings of instability, fear of moving forward, or a deep internal resistance to progress. The knees symbolize support and surrender. They bend so we may move, adapt, and shift. When they are stiff or in pain, it may reflect where in life we are resisting flexibility. Listening to the pain then becomes not just a physical practice, but a meditation, a way to know ourselves more deeply, to meet the parts of us that are afraid, tense, or wounded, and to bring them into healing through movement and breath. This path is not quick. The lessons of pain unfold over time. Sometimes they are subtle, requiring stillness and quiet attention. Sometimes they are intense, requiring rest and patience. But always the path leads forward if you walk it with humility and consistency. Each time you choose to modify a movement instead of forcing it, you honor the wisdom of your body. Each time you take a pause instead of pushing through sharp discomfort, you prove that you are here to build strength the right way. From the inside out, you learn when to challenge the pain and when to yield to it. That balance, that intuition, is the mark of a true practitioner. In time, you begin to appreciate the pain for what it has revealed to you. You no longer dread it. You respect it. You thank it. Because without it, you would not have slowed down enough to notice the flaws in your technique, the imbalance in your movement, the weaknesses in your support structures. Pain became the force that brought you back to integrity, to alignment, to intention. And through that, it gave birth to a deeper form of strength, not just in the knees, but in your awareness, your patience, and your courage. Many people chase quick fixes. They want exercises that promise results without discomfort. But true progress rarely comes that way. The deeper results are reserved for those who are willing to face the discomfort and ask what it means. If you are willing to be a student of your pain, your training becomes sacred. It becomes a form of self-inquiry, a discipline of refinement, a journey not just of physical conditioning, but of transformation. And so, when your knees ache as you begin your strengthening workout, do not recoil, do not panic, do not judge. Instead, breathe, observe, ask what lesson is being offered in this moment. Adjust your form, explore your breath, slow your pace, use the pain as a mirror. Let it teach you. Let it sharpen your awareness and deepen your respect for the process. For in time, that same pain that once limited you becomes the very thing that shaped you. It becomes your guide. Strength that is built through such a journey is lasting because it is not built on denial, but on understanding. It is not the strength of brute force, but of deep alignment. Physical, mental, and emotional. The kind of strength that can carry you through life's challenges, not just your workouts. And so we honor the pain, not by seeking it, but by respecting it, not by fearing it, but by learning from it. For in that respectful relationship, we discover what real healing is. And from healing, true strength is born. Consistency in small movements creates lasting transformation. When beginning a journey to strengthen the knees, many people search for powerful techniques or advanced exercises, assuming that the most intense efforts will bring the fastest results. Yet the truth lies elsewhere. Great change rarely arrives in a single moment. Instead, it grows quietly, patiently through repetition, through dedication, through the seemingly simple actions done again and again with full attention. The smallest movements, when performed consistently, hold the power to reshape your body, retrain your mind, and rewire your habits. It is not about how much you can do in one day, but what you are willing to commit to every day, no matter how basic or repetitive it seems. The knee joint responds best to gentle progression. Quick, forceful actions often lead to strain or injury, especially for beginners. But when you commit to the fundamentals, controlled leg extensions, mindful squats, slow step-ups, your knees begin to adapt. The ligaments strengthen, the muscles activate, the tendons gain resilience. Over time, the joint becomes more stable, more supported, and more functional. This doesn't happen overnight. It happens through small, repeated actions that build upon one another, creating a foundation strong enough to support more complex movement later on. Each time you return to the practice, you reinforce the pathway to strength. Each repetition is not just a movement. It is a message to your body saying, I am here, I am rebuilding, I am growing stronger. There is wisdom in the basics. Simple exercises like seated knee extensions, standing leg lifts, or slow wall sits may not look impressive, but they are powerful when done with precision and consistency. These movements isolate the muscles that protect the knee, like the quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, and glutes. They train coordination between muscle groups. They restore balance and mobility. But their power is only unlocked through daily practice. A single session will not change your body, but 100 sessions, each done with mindfulness and control, can create transformation that is not only physical, but also mental. The discipline required to return to these small movements every day strengthens the mind just as much as the body. Consistency teaches you how to overcome resistance. There will be days when motivation is low, when the knee feels tight, when progress seems slow. These moments are the true tests of your commitment. When you choose to show up anyway, even if only for a short practice, you are building resilience. You are learning that excellence is not about how intensely you train, but about how consistently you show up. Every drop of effort counts. Each controlled repetition contributes to the whole. Over weeks and months, these drops become a river, flowing steadily toward change. The mind begins to trust the process. The body begins to respond. What once felt difficult becomes easier. What once felt weak begins to feel strong. The nervous system plays a vital role in this process. When you repeat movements regularly, your brain becomes more efficient at sending signals to the muscles. Coordination improves. Balance stabilizes. Reflexes sharpen. This is the quiet magic of consistency. It improves not just strength, but also neuromuscular intelligence. Your movements become more efficient. You begin to sense the subtle shifts in posture, the alignment of the joint, the engagement of supporting muscles. This awareness deepens with time. You are no longer just exercising, you are cultivating mastery. There is also a psychological shift that takes place. When you embrace consistency in small actions, you move away from the need for instant gratification. You begin to value the process more than the outcome. You start to see your daily routine not as a chore, but as a ritual. A time each day when you return to yourself, your breath, your movement. You begin to enjoy the quiet progress, the feeling of being connected to your body, the satisfaction of knowing that you are building something lasting, something real. This mindset is liberating because it frees you from the pressure of performance and allows you to grow at your own pace. Every master of movement, in every tradition, began with simple repetitions. Whether in martial arts, dance, or rehabilitation, the foundation is always the same: small movements, done well, done often. These movements create the base upon which all strength is built. They train discipline, they build awareness, and they develop the endurance needed for more complex skills. Skipping the fundamentals in search of faster results is like building a house on sand. But when you honor the basics, when you give them your full attention again and again, you lay a foundation that will not crumble under pressure. Even setbacks become part of the path when you are consistent. If your knee flares up one day, if you feel soreness or stiffness, you adjust, you slow down, you modify, but you do not quit. This is the power of a steady practice. It teaches you to adapt without losing momentum. You learn to listen to your body more closely. You become flexible in your approach, yet unwavering in your commitment. That flexibility within commitment is what allows transformation to last. You are no longer bound by extremes. You move through the middle path, the path of daily effort, small victories, and long-term growth. In a world that often glorifies intensity, choosing consistency may seem humble or slow, but in reality, it is the most powerful path. Intensity can burn out. Motivation can fade, but consistency remains like a drumbeat guiding your progress. It becomes your anchor. It becomes your compass. And through it, you begin to embody strength, not as a burst of energy, but as a way of being. The strength of the knee is only one part of this journey. The deeper strength is in your decision to return every day, to move with purpose, to grow with patience. Transformation is not found in the extremes, but in the steady rhythm of practice. The small movements you choose to repeat today may not feel like much, but in time, they shape everything. They become the reason your knees feel more stable. They become the reason you walk without fear. They become the proof that change is possible, not through sudden force, but through quiet dedication. And in that dedication, you find a power far greater than anything intensity alone could give. You find yourself, one small, consistent step at a time. The mind must move first before the body can follow. Every physical action we take begins with a thought, whether conscious or unconscious. The decision to rise from a chair, to take a step, to bend the knee, all are initiated by signals from the brain. And yet, in training and in healing, many overlook this truth. They focus entirely on physical execution, forgetting the origin of movement itself. If the mind is not aligned, if it is distracted, fearful, hesitant, or filled with doubt, the body will reflect that state. The body does not lead the mind. The body obeys it. And so, when the intention is to strengthen the knees, to rebuild support, to restore stability, it must begin within the mind. The body will not believe in strength if the mind is filled with fear. It will not heal if the mind is constantly doubting the process. The first movement, then, is not a stretch or a step. It is a shift in thought, a quiet declaration within: I am ready. I am willing. I will move forward. Mental readiness is the foundation for physical transformation. Before you begin your knee workout, there must be clarity. You must choose presence over distraction, intention over habit. A scattered mind leads to disconnected movement. But when you bring your full awareness to the practice, each movement becomes deliberate, purposeful, and effective. The connection between mind and muscle sharpens. The body responds more quickly and more precisely. This is the first level of mastery. Not how advanced the exercises are, but how deeply the mind is engaged in the process. You do not need to move fast or lift heavy to gain results. You need to move with purpose, with attention, and with understanding. When the mind is engaged, even the smallest movements come alive. A simple knee extension becomes a conversation between the brain and the quadriceps. A slow squat becomes a lesson in coordination, balance, and control. The more the mind is involved, the more the nervous system adapts, and the more efficient each repetition becomes. This is where real progress is made, not in the volume of exercise, but in the quality of the connection. That connection is a mental skill, and like all skills, it improves with practice. Each time you direct your focus inward, each time you scan the sensations in the knees, each time you correct your form based on what you feel, you are training the mind to lead the body. Fear often lives in the mind and holds the body back. Many who begin knee strengthening have past injuries, or discomfort, or a fear of causing more harm. This fear is valid, but it must be acknowledged and released through awareness. If fear leads, movement becomes restricted, hesitant, or compensatory. But when the mind becomes calm, focused, and trusting, the body begins to open. It allows movement to flow with less resistance. Confidence is built not by denying fear, but by moving through it slowly, gently, and with full presence. You tell yourself that you are safe. You remind your nervous system that you are in control. And with each repetition, that message becomes stronger. The mind teaches the body that it is no longer under threat. It is healing. It is growing. It is becoming stronger. Visualization is a powerful tool in this process. When the mind clearly imagines a movement, perfectly aligned, balanced, strong, the body responds. Athletes, martial artists, and rehabilitation experts all use mental rehearsal to enhance performance. When you close your eyes and see yourself moving with strength and stability, you are activating the same neural pathways as if you were actually doing the movement. This mental practice prepares the body to follow. It enhances coordination, confidence, and readiness. For knee strengthening, this means visualizing your knees bending smoothly, your muscles engaging harmoniously, and your movements flowing with ease. The mind prepares the ground. Then the body walks upon it. Breath is another bridge between mind and body. When the breath is steady and conscious, the mind stays present and the body moves with rhythm. Holding the breath or breathing erratically creates tension and disconnect. But when each movement is paired with calm, controlled breathing, the body relaxes into the motion. The joints move with greater ease. The muscles activate more efficiently. The mind must initiate this rhythm. The decision to breathe deeply, to stay calm, to remain centered. All begins with awareness. This is why mindfulness and breath work are so deeply connected to physical training. They are not separate practices. They are part of the same systeming, the unity of intention, awareness, and action. Even rest and recovery are governed by the mind. The decision to take a break, to allow healing, to not push beyond limits. All of this requires awareness. Without the mind leading wisely, the body can be pushed into overtraining, injury, or burnout. But when the mind is attuned to the needs of the body, it makes choices that support long-term progress. It knows when to challenge and when to yield. It knows when to push forward and when to hold still. This wisdom does not come from intensity. It comes from paying attention, from learning how the body communicates and how to respond intelligently. There is a deep satisfaction that comes when the mind and body are in harmony. Movements feel smoother, more grounded, more alive. Progress feels sustainable. The practice becomes not just about knee strength, but about self-mastery. You begin to carry this awareness into other parts of life. Walking with more confidence, standing with more balance, sitting with better posture. These small changes ripple outward, improving your overall well-being. But none of it is possible without the mind taking the first step. To train the body without training the mind is to build without a blueprint. The form may stand for a while, but it will not endure. True strength, true healing begins inside. It begins with the decision to show up fully, to remain present, to guide the body with care and wisdom. Every session is a practice in leadership. Your mind leading your body, not with force, but with clarity. This kind of leadership creates lasting transformation. It builds not only stronger knees, but a stronger connection between who you are and how you move in the world. So, before the first repetition, before the first stretch, the first breath, there must be stillness. There must be the quiet command within the mind, I am ready to move. I am ready to lead. I am ready to change. And from that place, the body will follow, not as a servant, but as a partner. In balance, in strength, in unity. True progress is measured in patience, not perfection. In the journey of physical development, especially when strengthening sensitive areas like the knees, there is a quiet truth that reveals itself only to those who are willing to move slowly, to return again and again to the basics, and to trust the process without rushing toward an ideal. Perfection is often an illusion, a mental construct shaped by comparison, ego, or unrealistic expectations. Patience, on the other hand, is grounded. It is real. It lives in the present moment. It teaches you how to build something lasting, not just something impressive. When you bring patience to your practice, each movement becomes an act of trust in your body's ability to change over time. Many people begin their fitness or rehabilitation journeys with urgency. They want results quickly. They want to eliminate pain, improve strength, and regain confidence immediately. But the body does not work on demand. It responds to consistency, attention, and care. You may not see visible changes after one session. You may not feel dramatically different after 1 week. This is where the test begins. Not of your body, but of your mind. Can you continue to show up when the progress is not obvious? Can you honor the slow pace of healing without becoming discouraged? Can you find value in the small improvements? The deeper squat, the smoother bend, the lighter pressure on the joint. These small wins are everything. They are the true signs of forward movement. They are easy to overlook if you're chasing perfection. But if you are grounded in patience, they become deeply satisfying. The body is not a machine to be fixed. It is a living, adaptive system that communicates in sensations, rhythms, and feedback. Some days the knee will feel stronger, other days it will feel stiff or fatigued. This is normal. Progress is not linear. It is cyclical, like the seasons. There are periods of growth, periods of rest, and periods of challenge. If you expect perfection, you will resist these natural fluctuations. You may judge yourself harshly. You may push too hard or give up too soon. But if you approach each session with patience, you begin to understand the rhythm of transformation. You learn how to adapt without quitting, how to rest without regressing, how to challenge without punishing. This balance is the key to sustainability. Perfection demands outcomes. Patience respects the process. When your goal is perfection, you focus only on what's missing. You criticize the limitations. You feel inadequate. But when your goal is to be present and patient, you begin to celebrate effort. You recognize growth in your discipline, your awareness, and your persistence. You begin to appreciate the subtle improvements that build over time. You start to trust your body more. You begin to respect its pace. You stop forcing and begin flowing. You let go of the need to be perfect and instead commit to being consistent. In a knee strengthening workout, this might mean accepting that your range of motion is limited at first. It might mean acknowledging that certain movements feel difficult or awkward. That's okay. The goal is not to perform like someone else or to meet an imagined ideal. The goal is to meet yourself where you are today and move forward, step by step. Each controlled repetition, each careful movement is a message to your body: I am here for you. I am not rushing you. I am listening. I am learning. This is the foundation of real progress. Not a flawless performance, but a committed partnership with your own body. Patience also builds emotional resilience. When you are patient with yourself, you develop a quiet strength that helps you navigate not just physical training, but life itself. You become less reactive, less attached to outcomes, more capable of handling discomfort without frustration. You begin to replace self-judgment with self-respect. You realize that setbacks are not failures. They are part of the path. A sore knee, a missed workout, a difficult day does not erase the work you've done. It simply invites you to return, to recommit, to trust again. This kind of resilience cannot be forced. It grows in the space that patience creates. The journey of strengthening your knees is not just about muscles and joints. It is about learning how to live in your body with grace and care. It is about reestablishing trust between your mind and your movement. It is about recognizing that progress may be invisible for a while, but it is always happening beneath the surface. Tissues are healing. Muscles are awakening. Neural pathways are being rebuilt. These changes take time. They require repetition, rest, and respect. And all of that is made possible by patience. Perfection, by its nature, is rigid. It leaves no room for mistakes. It creates pressure. It fuels comparison. But transformation does not grow under pressure. It grows in freedom, in compassion, in breath. When you allow yourself to be where you are, to not rush, to not compare, to not judge, you give yourself the space to evolve in a way that is natural and sustainable. You build strength that lasts. Not just because your knees become more stable, but because your mindset becomes more balanced. The irony is that the more you glut of perfection, the more progress you actually make. When you stop trying to force a perfect form and instead move with awareness, your technique improves. When you stop pushing through pain to meet some imaginary standard and instead modify the movement, your recovery accelerates. When you stop measuring your worth by how much you can do and instead by how often you show up, your confidence grows. True progress sneaks up on you this way, not with a grand moment of success, but with the quiet realization that what once felt hard now feels easier, that what once caused fear now feels familiar, that what once seemed impossible is now a part of your routine. This is the reward of patience. It reveals what perfection cannot. It teaches you to listen, to honor, to trust. It transforms your relationship with your body and with yourself. So the next time you begin your practice, bring patience with you. Let it be the voice that calms your doubt. Let it be the rhythm that guides your breath. Let it be the strength beneath your movement, because it is through patience, not perfection, that you will discover your true potential. And in that discovery, you will find not only stronger knees, but a stronger self, one that does not chase success, but becomes it, quietly, steadily, and fully.